Hey, and welcome to Victory Point Labs. My name's Todd. I have Kevin and Spencer with us, and today is a very special community challenge episode. Now, the challenge is use a flashlight as your light source, the only light source you have in the picture, and no Photoshop. We opened it up to the community. A lot of people submitted really cool pictures, and we got to see some brand new styles of behind the scenes. And the game we're shooting is Ticket to Ride.
So Ticket to Ride is designed by Alan Moon and published by Days of Wonder, and it is kind of a staple in the board game community. It is one of the most well-known games in the world, and what you're going to be doing in the game is laying down train cars connecting city to city in order to make routes all across the world, depending on which version of Ticket to Ride you have. It is loved by many, and we are very excited to shoot it. So, let's jump into the photos, shall we? Spencer, let's start with you. Let's see your photo.
I'm ready. Here we go.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's really cool.
So we got the ticket there with the train car like launching out of it. That's really clever.
Yeah, I think I had this idea immediately with the ticket. It's obvious. It's a simple idea with the Ticket to Ride, and I kind of wanted something a little different, so I had a train busting through the middle of it. Had to cut a hole and rip the middle, which was a little hard to do, just because I didn't want to mess it up and have to do it again. But I had to, because we're only allowed to use the one light. I propped a big piece of white foam core on, which just gets my hand on the left side a little bit illuminated, and kind of creates that little vignette on the ticket.
I like that you have the hand in there as well. That little bit of human element. Anytime we've taken a photo with some sort of hand, I don't know, I just feel like it kind of brings it to life a little bit more, like kind of like in Todd's photo with Gods Love Dinosaurs with the hand in the cloud. If you guys haven't seen that episode, go watch it. And I just like having that human element in there. It's nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I do like using my hands in photos, just because you're always, when you play games, you're touching all the pieces and you're holding the cards and whatnot. So I do like putting that human touch literally into the photos.
Yeah.
So let me show you behind the scenes.
Cool.
So looking through to find the right color of paper, and wasn't exactly sure when I started how the design on the ticket was going to go, but I did those kind of perforated edges, and I just started doing some, those little curly lines and filling in the letters, and that's when I had to destroy the ticket. But it turned out all right, first time, so I was happy with that. There's my bag of wires.
Yeah. Prop
that up just so I could get the focus and I wouldn't have to move it around, and then it fell. So I just prop it again. I had everything on wires just so I didn't have to keep moving my hand in and out of frame and checking focus. Just so when I was ready to take it, I could just put my hand right into the frame.
Wow.
Even the flashlight got the wire treatment.
There's that train coming with that wire. And just a piece of black cloth to make sure there's no weird background. And I liked the way it looked, but I felt like I needed a little smoke. So, well, here's where I'm putting the whiteboard up to bounce the light. Just enough bounce, because without that bounced light, my hand was just a black blob. And there, I took some other photos where you can see the smoke better, and I like those, but I went with the final photo that I did because the hand position, actually.
Okay.
The other ones, my fingers kind of going out of frame, and the smoke looks super cool behind it, but I chose this one ultimately because of the way my hand looks in it.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed the challenge of only using a single flashlight and no Photoshop for this episode. That was a lot of fun to shoot this, and Todd, you're up.
All right, here we go.
That looks great.
Very nice depth.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I like the way you use the flashlight to kind of isolate everything in the middle and the dark shadows of the cards in the foreground. It really draws your eye to the center of the frame.
Thanks. I was trying to go for like almost a cityscape kind of thing with the cards. They just reminded me, like I set it up. I wasn't really sure what I was going to go for, like what the end product was going to look like. I was thinking like forest or cityscape, and I don't know, it kind of feels like skyscrapers to me, especially with that foreground shadow.
Yeah, definitely.
So let me show you some behind the scenes just so you can see what we're looking at here. So I'm using my old standard, the Lincoln Logs and Sticky Tack. So that's the Pro choice. And then the thing that I have it on is tile that I picked up at a hardware store. It is like the best if you need a different surface if you're doing your table.
I've thought about doing that.
They're cheap, and I kind of don't even want to tell people because it's like a great little trade secret for a lot of product photographers.
Yep.
Got some nice winding train lines here.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was basically just winging it. I was flopping the flashlight all over the place. This is actually, I was doing it with a regular flashlight, and then I ended up doing the final thing with my phone flashlight. I just couldn't record and also use my phone to record. So yeah, that's kind of my setup there. Pretty straightforward. I wanted to use smoke, but my wife was already asleep and she was my smoke hand. Smoke was not an option.
Yeah, I like the different surface that you used. Looks great.
Thanks. Okay, that is my picture. Kevin, let's see yours today.
All right, let me show you what I got here. Here is my photo.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's like a transparent ghost train situation.
Do you have some special kind of trains you're not telling us about?
I do. My copy of copy of Ticket to Ride is the 15th anniversary, and it comes with translucent train cars.
Nice.
And so I knew that I wanted to use these in the photo and emphasize the fact that they're translucent. So from the very start, I was like, I'm gonna shine light through these because I have a special copy of Ticket to Ride that will let me do that. And so let me show you my behind the scenes here. So I started with a piece of black foam core that I just cut a slit into. And I wanted it to be nice and thin so that when I stacked the train cars over the top of that slit, I could shine the flashlight through it and get that light. And I tried snapping some photos, but it wasn't enough. So I got my drill out and I poked a bunch of holes. And then I had all of it propped up with the flashlight underneath, getting that light from below. And then I grabbed my can of atmosphere aerosol, which is like a fog machine in a can. Turn the lights off.
Oh, wow.
And
that looks like
there's my photo.
An awesome party.
Yeah.
Party train.
So I was very happy with how that photo turned out. I thought it was really, really cool. And I love that the light shone through the train cars as well. Like I knew that they were going to get illuminated, but I didn't realize that the light was going to keep going through them and create the colorful like beams. So that was a pleasant surprise when I set it up and started spraying the fog. I was like, wow, there's like blue and green, and so I was really happy with that.
Yeah, that canned aerosol smoke really gives that volume nicely.
Yeah, not sponsored, but that'd be cool if they wanted to sponsor us. I use this stuff in like every other photo that I take, I swear. So
it's pretty solid. It's hard with little tiny product photography because it really like pumps out. Good stuff.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of shooting with only a flashlight?
Personally, I like the challenge.
Did you?
I want more light. I always want more light because I wanted to illuminate my hand more. But forcing yourself to think within those limits it's fun.
It's really fun to just like look for different angles. With my picture, I was just moving the flashlight all over the place and finding something cool every time. So that's what I thought was really cool. And since it's such a small thing you're working with, it's very easy to move the flashlight around. It'd be totally different if it's like you're using only one giant light stand, and now I want to move that all over the place.
Right.
It's not going to be as fast.
Yeah, I definitely found that it challenged me quite a bit, but I spent probably a lot more time on this photo than I would have if I was working with my normal lights, just because of the fact that flashlight was a bit of a restriction. But yeah, it kind of forced me to think a little bit more creatively, and I think that my photo probably turned out a lot cooler with the flashlight than it would have if I didn't have that restriction. I probably would have had something that was just cool, but not as cool.
Mm-hmm. And I like it too because those flashlights, if you're shooting with flashes, you can't. It looks different when you're shooting smoke because you have to shoot a lot faster because the flash is only 60th of a second or something. But with the flashlight, you've got the continuous light, but it's also a small point of light, which for your photo, Kevin, made the further out the lines of smoke went. It just was neat to see that, because if it was a bigger light, they would have all been going straight up, the points of light. But because of that small point of light, they were spread out, which added a neat dimension to your photo.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I definitely enjoyed this. I thought this was really cool, giving ourselves a restriction. But we also opened it up to the community. So why don't we take a few minutes and talk about some of the photos that people submitted? Because I'm really excited to share some of these.
We got a ton of awesome entries for this challenge, and we each chose 2 to talk about. So the first photo that I chose to talk about is from Seth on Board, and he took these pieces out, and it looks like they're in the snow and going through a tunnel. And it gives he's got the flashlight pointing at the end, and it's just got this really neat illumination on it, and it kind of reminds me of the movie Snowpiercer, and it's got this vignette around it because the light is shining down a tube. It just looks very cool, and that snow element really adds a nice touch to the photo. And the second one I chose is from Cinematic Board Game. The photo, I had to look at the behind the scenes before I understood what was going on, but once you see it, it's pretty cool. They took a train track stencil, essentially, bounced light off a mirror that had the stencil on it, and it's creating a shadow of a train track over the board, which has some pieces and cards on it. Very nice touch.
So I chose Jack Hat Photos. They have this excellent photo where they're using light bounced off of a foil reflector, so they have a ton of great fill light. And that allowed them to show off these cool props that they decided to include. Some really neat binoculars there at the top left, and great composition. Really a big fan of the composition and the colors they're using. The second one I chose was Brandon over at Tangerine Games, who was our first guest. He decided to put some motion into his picture, which I was super excited about. I think this is one of the only ones we had with motion like this. And he has some excellent behind the scenes. He basically threw the train onto a piece of glass, and the glass is moving across the board, creating this super cool motion effect. Very neat.
So for my first photo, I picked the photo by Board Games with B. And now what she's done here, she took a globe and she kind of surrounded the top portion of the globe with all these train cars, which I think is great because, there's so many different versions of Ticket to Ride, and you can create these train routes all over the world. And so I love that incorporation of the whole world, and the way that the train cars are just kind of going around the outside edge of it. I just think it's really creative. It's a very cool idea. And for my second photo, I picked the photo by Allison with Kidsplaining. She was also one of our previous guests, and if you look at the behind the scenes, what she did was really cool. She used this picture stand, and she had all of these cards attached to it, so they're all kind of at different depths from the camera, and a nice subtle touch. If you read her description, she's got Little Rock, the card for Little Rock, in focus, and that is where they're from. And so I thought that was a nice little personal touch that she added to the photo, but just very, very cool image altogether.
And there you have it. Thanks to everyone who participated in this challenge. We really had a great time. There were so many excellent pictures sent our way, If you're interested in seeing more challenge videos like this, let us know in the comments what you would like to see next. While you're at it, follow us on social media. We're all over the place. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And check out our next episode. It's going to be a big one with an awesome guest. Thanks for watching. Hey, and welcome to Victory Point Labs. My name is Todd. God, frick. All right. All right. I'm going to push it over to Spencer now. I'm going to say it professionally.
So
get back to me.
Do I get to show my picture this time?
Oh, God dang it. Spencer.
We switched
Spencer
off.
did this last time, so I might as well do it for this episode.